Yes guys, so today we are going to discuss how to how to configure Nexus repository with Fuse and that too in Fabric environment. So yeah, let me show you a few things like how we can set up Nexus repository first, and how we can push artifactories to Nexus repository. So this is one of the example which I am having here. If you see what the specific how we can set a the plugin, this distribution management plugin, and I have provided repository. So this repository is my Nexus repository, and if you see this ID Nexus, this should map to your settings.xml here. So it should map here. So if you see this ID Nexus maps to this ID, and for this ID there is a username and password. So when this Maven this Nexus URL will be accessed, it will also provide this username and password, so that basic authentication can be done. So using this plugin and this mapping in settings.xml, this settings.xml is mostly within your M2 repository, so you can do basic authentication. Yeah, so now let's go to Nexus repository, how it is set. Yeah, so if you see here, so if you see here, I want to show you how Nexus repository can be downloaded easily from here. This link, download Nexus repository. So current I'm using the latest version for Linux environment, so you can download from here easily. You can download even this one. So I downloaded this, and yeah, so once I downloaded this, I kept it. If I show you where I kept it, I just yes, this is the Nexus. This was the tar I extracted it, then I moved to this, then bin, and this Nexus. If you run this script with a start argument, it will open up a window for you similar to this. Yes, similar to this. So right now I'm logged in with developer username. By default the username is admin123. So yes, if you see here, now I should show you like first thing you should do is to create user. So I have created one user, that is developer. So developer, if you see here, yeah, so it's a developer, and the granted you can say permissions are this admin permissions. And if you see here, there is one more, anonymous as well. So by default it is checked, but you should uncheck it, so that your Nexus repository is secure, and without any basic authentication no one can access it. So I have unchecked it, and then now later so I cannot access it without username and password. That's what my code is doing as well. If you see this Nexus, I have provided this ID, and this ID is mapped with this developer and developer. If it is not mapped, it won't be possible to to push the artifacts into the repository. So let us test once. So let us 3. I'm creating a 3. Okay, let me show you first here. If yeah, so right now if we see here in Nexus repository, I need to go here, assets, and yeah, this Maven releases. If you see this URL I have provided here, Maven releases in the code as well. Maven releases this distribution management tag, and within this it is repository tag and Maven releases. So I have provided this. So yeah, this is similar to this. So how can you get it? Click here, yeah, click here, copy. This URL will be available for copying, and then you can paste it to your codes. That way you can publish the artifacts. So right now if you see here what artifacts I am having, I just need to click here. So yeah, 1 and 2 versions are there. So this jar and 2 jar. Let me push one more version of it, that is called version 3. Okay, so let me build it. Run as Maven build. Yes, build success. So if you see here, this 3.0 is built and uploading, so uploaded. So this says this is uploaded. Okay, so let me show you again if it is uploaded or not. Assets, we go here. Yeah, now we have 3 as well. So yeah, this is how we are pushing the artifacts. So yeah, let's go to the main topic now. Once we have artifacts, how to access them using Fuse or Fabric environment. So I have a Fabric environment ready here, and if you see here, container list, there are 2 containers, root and ABC, and I am going to add a profile to ABC container. Okay, so if you see here profile, let us check the content of test profile. So it is camel blueprint CBR 1.0 version, so it will try to fetch 1.0 version. So let me check this 1.0 version. Okay, this Fuse is the version of Fuse is, if you see, the version of Fuse is 6.3, and it is the latest version right now with latest patch as well. Okay, so now what we are going to do now, there are few things we need to provide. One is, first, the URL of remote repository we will set in our Fabric environment. Secondly, we will also set the credentials to access Nexus repository. So how that is done, I will show you this now. So if you see here, yeah, so this is default profile, and within default profile we have this agent.properties. So in agent.properties we have few properties which we need to set, like firstly this. So if you see here, this ID equals to Nexus, ID equals to Nexus. So this is the URL Maven releases, which matches to this Maven releases. I think you are following me as what I'm Maven releases, and this ID equals to Nexus. This ID equals to Nexus is this. So username and password will be accessed from here. Now this is done. This remote repository is done. Now we have to provide, see, automatically it will not see this dot your m2 that this settings.xml. So we have to provide the path of this settings.xml as well. So how we provide it? So there is another property, yeah, this one. So there is one more property. Let me check where is that property. Agent.properties. Okay, yes, this is that property. We need to set it as well. So I'm going to set it right now. Add it. Okay, maven.settings, I'm going to set it like home Pandey .m2 maven settings.xml. Save. Okay, so is it saved? Let us verify. Yeah, so it is saved. Now what we are going to do here, yeah, so this is just once. Now what we are going to do here, I have this setup of Wireshark as well to see if things are working fine or not. So what I am going to do here, I am going to run this so that it can capture if jar has been downloaded or not. Yeah, so yeah, another thing I wanted to tell here is, if you see the capture options, I have the capture filter is port 8081. So 8081 is the port where your Nexus repository is running. 8081. So any traffic here will be captured. So close. So we will start it again. So continue without saving. Yeah, so new capture has been initiated. We will do container list and we will apply the profile here, apc test profile, and let's check this. Okay, we have 400, and yeah, perfect. So let us stop this now. Yeah, if you see here, we have this follow TCP stream. So yeah, first time it gave 401 unauthorized. So at first time it was not able to unauthorize it, but the second time it hit the similar request, CBR0 and CBR0, but this time it provided the authorization tag as well, which we set at settings.xml. So yeah, this one is provided, and then we have this HTTP 200, okay, and we have this jar file downloaded. So this is how we can easily identify if it is working or not. Earlier we can see that it was 401. So yeah, these are few basic things which we need to how we can troubleshoot the configurations. So if I summarize this, so what we need to do, we need to provide this distribution management tag in our development code so that artifact can be pushed to the Nexus repository. And so this Nexus, if you have anonymous user, you don't need to you don't need to set anything to settings.xml, because anonymous user can easily, if you are in Nexus repository, if anonymous tag is checked, means anyone can access your Nexus repository. By checked means this one. So if it is checked, anyone can access it. In that case, you don't need to concern about this ID. But if it is unchecked, then in settings.xml you have to provide this Nexus and its mapping to username and developer. Yeah, so this way the artifact will be pushed to Nexus repository. Now if once this is done, we go to Fuse, and then we see profile display default. Yeah, in default we see few things like Maven settings. It points to settings.xml. You can put settings.xml anywhere. Yeah, so I have just picked my default settings.xml. And if you see, the other property was the path of remote repository, which is set like this, id equals to Nexus. So this path should also refer to Nexus so that it can be mapped. So that's all. That's all I wanted to show you, how we can configure Nexus repository easily. So I think that this would be helpful for you people as well. So yeah, thanks for joining.